Hello, wonderful people. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. We are here in Sharlayan, and we're gonna start our quest with Cryle. So let's see what we're gonna do there. Hitting the books. An unsettling change has overcome over Sharlayan, but together we will divine the underlying cause for the forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge, which is why I began scouring Sharlayan's archive of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day, but now that I have hit this band of willing reinforcements, the search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside Numenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. Alrighty, let's go do that. Alrighty, here we are. My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Numenon, Sharlayan's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of many at that, but the archives of Numenon extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the Great Google Library pale in comparison to Numenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Sharlayan is free to enter and peruse its shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Y'shtola and Graha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alisaie and Elfno will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you're only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Sharlayan history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at stone benches over there once they found some promising tomes. Happy reading. Okay, let's do that. Alrighty, I looked at some books. It was as boring as was expected. Just kidding. But yeah, let's see what we're gonna discuss. Sorry, were you waiting long? Nope. Like 3 seconds. I wanted to make sure I'd borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alfino and Cryle should also be along shortly. I was delayed in similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final day specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes, if they are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read and a ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alfino and I were to return to Sharlayan, we were not to be allowed across the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the Forum will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Sharlayan, yes, but I was born rather further away. And the southern reaches of Ilsabard, in fact, for generations my people have dwelt in Corvus, the coastal region opposite the island of Fafnir. The Elegans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of the Michote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the fourth Umbral calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the fifth calamity froze the sea solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvus braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the remnants of elegant technology from being misused. Isn't Corvus under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes, some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amoenus. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in elegant civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the elegant eye no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Alag. As the last child born with the elegant eye, I was given over to the custody of friends and the students of Badessian, who had me registered as a Sharlayan citizen. I never even considered, forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Fancred was taken in by Archon Louisois, was he not? Stories of adopted ways and rescued orphans are more common among Sharlayans than you might think. Yet, regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient perspicacity, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. And this is exactly why I have such love for this country, and why I wish it to remain a nation of which its citizens can be proud. Here, another good reason to get to the bottom of the forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. There was actually all just backstory to Graha. Damn. Excuse us while we try to make some headway into these books, Laura. More company should be arriving any moment now. Oh my god, I have to wait again, so the rest shows up. I can't. It's just sitting there. Nice. Hey. Please don't tell me about your backstory too. We've returned with our selections, although I must say the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mistress Krile has already flicked through every history book devoted to disaster, and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking into research papers on the Umbral calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Almorod firsthand, and fear I may be overlooking critical details. My thanks. Now, where to begin? First things first, what kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? Oh snap, I didn't pay attention. A complete destabilization of creation magics, primus of unrivaled power were summoned from the ether, the worst kind of phenomena you can imagine. I forgot. Isn't it primals or something? Like Hydrogen and Zodiac, right? I believe Heidelin and Zodiac were summoned after the final days had arrived, quite deliberately, in fact. Oh, whoops. Then ask Elf, you know, man, he's the smart one. If you're speaking of phenomena caused by the final days, the chaos of creation magics run rampant and is what first comes to mind. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion. Meteors raining from the sky, fire eruption from the ground, and indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. And what was I supposed to say? Just that, oh, it was really terrible. I mean, don't you realize that the end of the world is pretty terrible? Me to say it? To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Yashoda surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Asians. Also what else of note which heralded the approach of the final days. Oh man, that's like a pop quiz. The entire star was engulfed by disaster all at once. They say it began with a keening sound from the land itself. Alphino, you can answer this one. Alphino. Do it. I count on you. It's like how I took my exams. Me, well, as you wish. See, she didn't even have to ask me. Ask the smart ones. The Amoratins, I'm just here to vibe, you know? It's like, please, just let me vibe. The Amoratins were debating the cause of an anomaly which had been observed in the lands across the sea. By this fact alone, we can deduce that the final days occurred not all at once the world over, but rather had a point of origin from which it began to spread. Others also spoke of a keening sound rising from the land itself, just before our region was visited by catastrophe. We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. So the ground was crying out, you say. To be considered the harboring of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of Numenon's mammoths and ask after any books which make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they make? They summoned Zodiac, they summoned Heidelin, they knocked Alamut from the sky. Oh snap. Wait, but they summoned Zodiac first, right? And then Heidelin to balance Zodiac out. No? I'm probably wrong again. Oh, he nods! Yes, with Elidibus serving as his heart. So many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. Okay. We do not know exactly how Zodiac brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Life sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls they intended to render onto Zodiac, a trait that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Venet and her fellows not manifested their opposition in the form of Heidelin. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in understanding of events. Without a fresh in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telophroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they're doing with those towers of theirs, is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst. Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech, a convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash? But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Yastola, but this time we began studying these research papers. I thought you already studied them and we're just sharing stories. Krile, Alfino. Nice, everyone is studying. I'm just standing here like an idiot. I wouldn't mind some voice acting, you know. And the last am I? Well, my extended search of the Archon stacks produced 1 or 2 possible useful books, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Uriyoshi learned of the source's reflections from the Garen oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, the tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Google Library. It is even less likely that knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason, then, that my colleagues, be they archons or counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet, when you confronted Master Fortunato with knowledge of the Telophoroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us. Which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior, it is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty, whether they contain mention of the final days or no. These books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Oh, you labor for what feels like an age as Yashtola's research assistant. Yay, I'm glad I'm not there. There you are, Krile. Trying to hide from me. Oh dear, you look exhausted, but what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? Yeah, apparently. Then the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a Mehmet at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. And I'm good. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Oh no, is there gonna be an exam again about what I read? Do I have to read those books again? No, I'll just wing it. I see it at the last stand. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Ready for a tea break, Laura? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables and I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. Yay, let's go. Righty, we're here at the last stand. Let's see. As busy as ever, I see how very Sharlayan that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the Telophoroi. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? As I now accompanying you. Okay. Hello. What is it? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. Okay. Misunderstand, sir. We were simply wondering if you knew of the Telophoroi. These enemies of peace have promised an end to all we hold dear and... Hey, you're that house Levier girl, aren't you? And this woman with you is obviously a foreigner. I'd hear you were disowned for helping outsiders that indulge their barbaric whims, and here you are giving truth to the rumor. I thank you to leave me be. I've naught to say to the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. It was foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from one so enlightened Commodore. Okay. Wait, there's someone else here. Oh, over there. Oh, more people. Someone here. You seem nicer. I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Well, that was already a nicer introduction. Pray excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Talofroi and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Levier. My apologies, but I work in the offices of the Forum, and if word reached Master Fortunal that I was helping you... I see, we're sorry to have bothered you. Hello. He works here. That means it's gonna be nicer. And there's a cutscene. Why is there no voice acting? Welcome, madam. What can I offer you today? Wait, is that Mistress Alisaie I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. But she's still a little teenage girl. Meet Dickon, the owner of The Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion, in between lessons at the studium. That seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and Master Avno had set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Lately there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything alright at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Levier. No matter how discreet Master Forshnope may have been, news of your family's doing never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions and only Sharlayan has the answers. Tell me, Master Dickon, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? Well, like the end of the world, nothing like that, I'm afraid, and that's what you're here to find, information on this apocalypse. Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. But maybe there is. You're a visitor to Sharlayan, aren't you? Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. We just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea. I hate to ask, but what do you think? I have to deliver food to people now? That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes needs to go. Oh no. Do I have to actually remember that? Okay, the tea set is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. Okay, a chatty group. Tea set. Water's edge. Okay. The omelette is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisla. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Okay, so 2 people, omelette, Gisla. I already forgot the first one. Behind them you should see a Michote gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Okay, lobster, 1 dude, 1 kitty dude. Okay, I got it. I didn't even read the rest because I will forget. Where's the food? Let me get the stuff before I forget. Oh, that's the chatty group. They get the tea set. Right? Oh, my tea set. Lovely, thank you. You're welcome. Oh no, please don't talk forever, because I will forget. To for who? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events now. If you wanted to hear about ritual arcane practices of the 6th astral era, common or esoteric, then I'd be happy to talk here. No, I'm good. Oh, Gisla. I forgot what you had. Omelette? I think the omelette. Yeah, the dude has the lobster. Ah, fine. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's dig in. No time to waste. Yeah, go eat. What, the Telefroy? Ah, yes, I remember seeing the name in the latest gazette. Dead and some grand claim. Wait, I don't even have to remember anything anymore. I can chill. I only have one thing left anyways. Damn it, I'm yeah, not the smartest. Dead and some grand claim about the end of days. Same old senseless warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best stay out of it, I say. The forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Okay. Wait, but there are 2 people here. Urban Bento with a smile. I don't know. At last, the oven baked lobsters. Yo, that's a really big. That's a lot. You gonna eat all of that by yourself? Okay. And your friend is not having anything? You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. The final days, this is the first time I've heard of it. Although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a gleaner. You don't know what a gleaner is. They're collectors of a sort, travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Sharlayan. Priceless books, unusual life specimens, and so forth. You don't know what a gleaner is. They're collectors of a sort. What the hell? Why didn't you go? It's a name for those folk who trail after the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. By all accounts, gleaning is a most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Telefroi make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads and from the docks all day. It's never been this hectic before, not like this. Okay. So I guess we have to investigate Gleaners or whatever. Or maybe not, I don't know. Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Yeah, they were pretty chatty, not gonna lie. Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon had nothing to offer, and he's the best source of gossip in the city. If the firm does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. But I mean, then I'm pretty sure that researching the library is not gonna do anything. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, that cup of coffee I promised. Thank you. But let's enjoy our drinks somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from the gossips and the wagging tongues. Let's do that. Righty, we're here. Yes, this should do nicely out of the wind and out of sight. Just hanging out with Alisaie.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan? Graha said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently.
Good story.
They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
Maybe we should go there.
A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the Gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And Gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
And we're actually using our brains now. Insane. Didn't I say that just before? A labyrinthine descent. We should tell the others that what we've learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to Numenor. Go ahead to Numenor, and I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon will want his cups back. Nice. Let's go. Alrighty, we are here. Welcome back, Laura. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. It makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden and significant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo, it certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Erstola observed earlier, Numenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Laura and Alisaie learned at that last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yes, my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Telophoroi is wholly unlikely these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously? Wait, isn't it unanimously? Deny Osiris request for aid. Yeah, unanimously. Whoops. Damn. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the Forum's secretive ends. Let's investigate. In which case our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves. And if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. Fine idea. What should we expect down there? Anything would be better than burying my head in another dusty book. Fine idea, let's do it. I'm glad you approve. You won't be disappointed, I promise. Yeah, let's go then. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help, thank you, Raha. Let's go. Let's head down the stairs over there and I'll show you where the entrance is. Let's go. Alrighty. Ready Labyrinthos is not too far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close. Off you go then. Yeah, then off you go. I'm ready. Oh my god, let me skip this for you guys. She could have literally just told me left to the rostra, which we've already seen. Here we are, through this door and down the stairs. You did remember to attune to this shard back there, didn't you? It will make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. Oh my god. Like, she's acting as if it's so hard to get here. Down we go. Why did I have to walk after her? So annoying. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Right, everyone onto the lift and down we go. Let's go. Felix and Shadowbringers, they enjoy lifts way too much.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge, buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
That's crazy.
The island is volcanic, you see. And once upon a time, this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people Gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Ugh.
Did you call to me just now? No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
Damn. That place is crazy. Alright, let's check stuff out. Okay, so my guess is they have a vault or something, or like a panic room. I don't know what it is, shelter or whatever. They're planning to come down here when the final days come, and then the Sharlayans are safe and their stuff. Or maybe just for the forum, I don't know. But that is my guess, because they're like stocking up on stuff. Ooh, a Nimbus Cloud. Any luck, Laura? What tales did the Gleaners have to tell? That is my guess. Because they're like in a hurry and everything since they heard about the last days, and they're stocking up like a lot of food and everything. So this grand operation began without warning, and for every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. We were right, the forum is definitely up to something. They're turning Labyrinthos upside down in the process. That is true. We would do well to learn more of what specifically the Gleaners are being tasked to do, as well as who has tasked them to do it. If you're game, Laura, I have an idea. Didn't one of the Gleaners you questioned say something about escaped marmots? Perhaps if you were to help him capture said creatures, you might be inclined towards a more friendly and enlightening conversation. Sure. In the meantime, I will turn my charms upon this Gleaner here. We can compare notes afterwards. Happy hunting. Didn't he just hear that? Oh well. Let's do that. Alrighty, there we are. You wish to help me find the marmots. I've nothing suitable to pay you for your services, but if you're offering out of the goodness of your heart, I'd welcome the assistance. Sure. The name is Aaron Will, friend, specialist in the collection of live specimens. That said, the capture of these Naxian marmots is a trial I've no desire to repeat. Grizzled mice, they call them. For mercy, there are no other marmot species on this tier at present, so there should be no mistaking our little fugitives. If you happen to catch any, stuff them in the sack gently, of course. Where to begin, you wonder? I've not seen any scampering around here, so we'll need to widen our search into the surrounding forest. Be on your guard. There are beasts out there that won't hesitate to prey on a marmot or you. I'll search the trees to the west. The eastern part of the forest is all yours. Good luck. Let's go. Alright, so that was a very annoying task. How did you fare? I checked down 3 of the pack, which leaves 1 unaccounted for. Yeah, I have that one, and I had to catch him like 3 times. Ah, there's the odd marmot out. Mammoth, I don't know. Wait here a moment while I put our friends in a holding cage. Right. Thankfully, the marmots seem to be unharmed. They've held up well in isolation, but it's much too soon to release them into the habitat. It's a good thing we were able to recapture them so swiftly. You have my thanks. What asked you to capture them in the first place? What will you do with the marmots now? By the authority in charge of Labyrinthos now and in perpetuity. The same officials who've had us working day and night of late. The honorable members of the forum, who else? Suitable for consumption and easy to breed. Those were the 2 conditions I was given for the stock I was instructed to procure. I don't know what the forum has planned for these creatures, but at the very least, I doubt they'll be served for dinner today or tomorrow. There you are, Laura. Is this the Gleaner you mentioned? The one who was looking for lost marmots? Interesting company you keep, friend. Who are you folk anyway? I'm Kryle of the Students of Badessia, and these others are my associates. Truth be told, the forum's decisions of late have not sat entirely well with us. That is why we made the descent into Labyrinthos. We hope that by seeing those decisions put into action, we might more fully understand their reasoning. Wise and practical, never hurts to try and gain a broader perspective, does it? Anyway, duty calls. Our other animals to capture and enclosures to empty. Once again, I'm sorry that I can't offer you more for your services. Did you learn anything new from your friend there? So we've confirmed that the order for this ambitious operation did indeed come directly from the Forum. However, the Gleaners have not been informed of its purpose. I'd say that fits with everything we've heard thus far. We also discovered when the operation was begun, the Forum contacted the Gleaners guild ship and put their people to this great work for 4 days, after the Telofroi made their chilling declaration. As seasoned travelers, the Gleaners keep abreast of news from every corner of the world out of necessity. Thus, am I inclined to trust that their calendar of events is accurate. Altogether, it gives the distinct impression that this undertaking was a sudden and unexpected development. Yet I find it hard to believe that such a comprehensive restructuring of Labyrinthos and its archives could have been planned in so brief a window. Nay, this plan was long in the making. They were but awaiting the right time to put it into effect. And the Telofroi's declaration was what set it all in motion. It seems likely, but let us not leap to conclusions just yet. For the moment, I suggest we conduct a wider investigation of Labyrinthos. The more facilities we visit, the more pieces of the puzzle we stand to find. In that case, how about we head to the Archeon? From there we can reach the lower. She's not doing too well, is she? Crown, what's wrong? I'm fine, truly. The sudden descent has left me with a bit of a headache, that's all. Nothing that will stop me from soldiering on. Let's be about it then. At least allow me to take the lead. I'm fairly certain I remember the way to the Archeon. We follow the path east through the forest where you were chasing after that mouse, or marmot was it? Anyway, there's the trolls you need to watch out for. Really, now they don't show me the way when I literally don't know where it is, but in the city where I had a tour and everything, they're like, oh, you'll find it, don't worry. By the way, this place looks sick. Whoa. Music is also cute. Okay, let's go. Okay, I guess this is the place. Behold the Archeon. As Numenon serves as Sharlayan's literary archive, so does the structure house the city's wealth of material data. The architecture too is similar. This building you see is merely the upper entrance, an access point to the vaults carved into the cliffside itself. That is pretty cool. Within those vast rooms are stored countless samples and specimens, as well as the detailed records which describe them. In a manner of speaking, the Archeon contains a physical history of Sharlayan's unwavering dedication to the accumulation of knowledge. That is very cool. But we're gonna continue in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like if you like what you see, and obviously subscribe if you would like to see more. I try to upload every single day. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and bye bye!